Hello and welcome to the channel. Happy Tuesday to all the followers, and it is Tarryn the Tawny frogmouth here this morning. My quirky way of always bringing on, because I'm the farm girl, like to bring in the wildlife animals as part of my toolbox chat. And so I'd love to just sing out and bring a warm welcome to all of the new subscribers to the channel, and thank you for following. Now I'm here today. We obviously are on Tuesday, the day after a long weekend, where some of the country has observed the King's birthday long weekend. Now, it wasn't a national holiday, so it was observed by the most part of Australia, except for Queensland and Western Australia. So I think to myself, you know, way back, you know, several years ago, it used to be, and I'm sure of it, a national holiday that everyone in Australia observed the Queen's birthday long weekend, or now be it the King's birthday long weekend. And I think, where are we going so wrong in this country? You know, we talk about inclusiveness, and we talk about, you know, all trying to be on the same page with things, with the inclusiveness of all of the different people that live here in this country, everyone that we share this world with, everyone we share our country with, everyone we share our neighbourhoods with, everyone we share our community with, right down to the fact that you know, it almost is to the point where it brings a sense of that we are at odds with things. And I think about this to the point that it brings a sense of we're at odds with each other in this country, and we are at odds with each other in our community in some way. Then we are at odds with, sometimes within our family dynamics, to the point that we are, and inside of ourselves, with our triple PD, at odds inside our own bodies and in our systems. And why is it that we are not this wholesome, balanced person? And what is it that's created this? And I'm always on the channel searching for answers and asking the question, why has this happened? What's caused it? And, you know, I'm always in search for a cure, or always in search for something that's going to work for all of us to be able to be released from this living, absolute dreaded condition that we walk around with every minute of the day, with you know, symptoms that just never seem to go away ever completely. And I talk about the fact that we will never ever ever be who we once were. And being at odds, and I'm talking about just with ourselves, brings me to think that there's got to be a message here for us. Like, so with our vestibular systems not working the way they should be, and our categorizing it as a health issue, what's the message here for us? What is it that we need to clear in our system, in our energy fields, in our vibration of whom we are, down to that cellular level, down to that level of in that energy field that's you know, a blockage there or something. And it can go back out as far as something that happened, you know, in the past or whatever, and it can be a cycle of a continual cycle that shows up in our life to remind us that it is in our mind always what's the word, you know, enforcing or, you know, showing up and showing us that it is true, that belief system is true. It comes to remind us that, oh yeah, there it is again, that cycle is true, because it's just come to show itself again that it, you know, it's true. And I guess what I might do to just expand on that a little bit would be, if we have like a belief system stuck in our energy field where something from a drift or something that may be painful in the past that's come along that said like you're not worthy of something, like you're not worthy of love, or you're not worthy of the full attention of somebody, and that you are always going to be, you know, second or third or fourth or fifth picked for the team or something like that, that people don't like you as much as they like everybody else, and that perhaps, you know, you're always going to be the last person that they invite somewhere, or they've invited everybody else but they haven't invited you. And that belief system keeps coming back to tell you, see, there you go, you're always the last one to be told, or you're always the last one to find out about something, or you never get picked for the team, or something to that effect, if you can follow where I'm coming from. So and it's interesting that then becomes like a trapped energy inside your system that then is like a dis-ease, like you're at odds with that, and that energy then becomes trapped, and it holds a depth of darkness. It holds a depth of you know, dark, heavy, you know, energy that gets blocked, that may manifest as, you know, pain, or, you know, something where something in your system is not operating like it should. So that's just like a little bit of, you know, where I come from in terms of thinking certain things, you know. But it's really interesting because you're probably, like myself, the first person that they call when they need to download on something, when they've got a problem. Like they need your shoulders, they need your plate to be able to turn to when their first world problem is big and they want to regurgitate all of their issues and their problems. You're the first person they come to talk to. So it's all about now starting to step back and think about, hang on a minute, this is my energy field, this is me that I'm protecting, and it's not okay for this to happen, for them to come and regurgitate or to download or to absolutely, you know, spew all of their troubles and all of their problems out onto you, and then expect you to wade through their mess for them, and it'd be okay for you to then take that and, you know, hold it and feel like you're obliged to help in that situation, when then they walk off and feel a mighty lot better for leaving all of that rubbish and you know, worries and woes with you, and they're 100 times better and don't give it a second thought. So it's just an interesting concept, something to just be very mindful of. And I just feel like, you know, some people think about those sorts of things, others people don't ever give it a second thought and just think, oh, you're just there for somebody else, and that's okay. You can be there for others, but it's a matter of just being very aware of the energy that they bring and what you take on for that person, or protecting yourself and your energy field in that moment. So, you know, I'm thinking with our vestibular disorders and our issues and our problems that we already facing every day that is invisible to everybody else, we need to be the number one priority for ourselves in protecting our energy fields and protecting what we have, to heal that first before we are available to be able to help or heal anybody else. So I feel like that's a really important little, you know, message. So anyway, I am here today especially. I've had a request from one of my most beautiful followers, Foxy Girl. So I'm going to pause this video, go on and restart it by showing my followers that are interested in a couple of neck stretches that I do every morning when I walk the dogs. I get to the top of the hill and do a few neck stretches. So I'm not going to be doing that out in the wild today. I'm going to try and do it in a more of a controlled space. And there's a couple of other things that I'm going to show you as well. I've been working with an osteopath, and he's been also helping me with a couple of neck movements and also some work on my hips, which has been really good. Now I pick up tips and bits along the way with all sorts of things. I'm very open to energy. I'm very open to healing my vestibular disorder, and if there's things that work for me, I love to share. So hopefully I'll go on to set myself up to do those, and you know, you all have a fantastic day today, and it's been lovely to connect with you, and I'll try to do a little bit of information with the stretches, and we'll go from there. But thank you for being on the channel, and like and share, and if it's helped you in any way, drop me a message. So yeah, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye for now. So for the neck stretches, when I've done my walk and I've got to the top of the hill, what I like to do is actually just widen your legs until they're about shoulder width apart. So just have a nice solid stance from your hips down, widen your feet shoulder length apart. I'll bring my fingers together and I'll interlock them. Then I'll do is I'll bring them to the top of my head, and then you want to not just have them at the front or on top, you want to actually take them to the back of the crown. So at this very back point here, at the crown of the head, sit them over the crown of the head. Make sure that the hips are wide apart. You've got a really nice balanced stance there. And then with that, nice, just drop your hips a little bit forward. So you've got a nice locked in system there, nice and balanced. And then with the hands interlocked over the crown, just bring your elbows backwards towards the back of the spine. So stretching back towards the spine, not forwards like this, but backwards. And then lifting your hands upwards in this oval shape. We're going to stretch your arms up as far as you can, but you're not going to bring them forward. You're going to push them backwards away from the crown, pushing them up and back down, and you're touching the crown of your head. So it's actually, you've got your chin up and the crown, and you're pushing backwards, up and down, and that's stretching through that rib cage, and you're stretching those arms, and those elbows are going backwards. And you do that about 4, 5, 6 times, 6 stretches, and then release those arms and bring them towards the back of your, behind the back of your pelvis, and roll those shoulders back and just bring those elbows behind you and just give that a little stretch. Shake that out, roll those shoulders back, shake that out. Okay, so, and then that is literally the stretch that I do for that neck. Okay, so, but that's actually realigning this posture, rolling those shoulders back, and they're actually lifting this whole neck and this vision forward. Okay, so we're not, it's instead of this whole bent forward and looking down at the ground, we're actually going to roll these shoulders back and bring this chest up and open everything up. So interlocking the fingers, bringing them above the back of your head, finding this deep spot, this crown. The crown is right here at the back of the head. Okay, so interlock, find the crown. Okay, hips, legs wide apart, and then over, and then pushing those elbows and pushing those hands and stretching up, not to the point where it's uncomfortable, but giving that a really nice stretch. Okay, and you can feel that stretch up through the back, and you can, and it's really not about hurting yourself at all, but stretching that and doing that about 5 or 6 times. Okay, bringing that back around to behind, stretching those shoulders, rolling them back, and then just shaking that off and just, you know, feeling that, lifting that chin, and then reassess, feel yourself, look, okay, have I lifted? Am I feeling more lifted? Do I look like I'm looking more forward? So that is, I feel like that really lifts and opens that chest, and you're looking more forward. You've got to trust yourself when you're walking that you want this open chest and the vision, looking way down the street, looking at the horizon. You're not going to look at the ground, because if you're looking down here at the ground, you're going to go to the ground. You've got to get this, the open the chest and looking straight. Remember, between Wally's ears, you're going to be riding your horse, so you're looking between Wally's ears. Open the chest, chin up, looking at the horizon forward, you know, hips balanced, and really not looking at this ground. Trust your system. Trust the fact that you know, even standing here, that your eyes can see the ground, can see the floor. So that's a lovely one to do. And then I'll just pause it and show you one other. Okay, so I'm really got myself set up against a wall, and I've got my feet right against the wall together. So standing together, my feet are together. My bottom is touching the back of the wall. My shoulder blades and my shoulders are touching the wall, and my back of my head is touching the wall. And what we're going to do is, and it looks a little bit weird, it's like, just pretend you're like a plastered chicken that's just been plastered against a wall, okay? But what we're going to do with this one is just going to go down and up and down. It's the slightest movement up and down with your head, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to, let me think about this, as we go down, we're going to breathe in, and then as we go up, breathe out. Okay, so just do that a few times, and it's really just the small movements, up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's actually just using this part of the, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's just the smallest little movement up and down, and then we're just breathing with that up and down, okay? So that's just also really good for balancing, you know, with our balance systems, and also our, you know, resetting the vagus nerve, and you know, bringing that, it's almost like it's working on our central nervous system, and also bringing that into alignment as well. There's a couple of other central nervous system ones I've got as ideas that I'm trying to do a little bit more research on, but the other one is that I've also really been working on this one as well, and this was food for thought, and all of these are just suggestive ideas and suggestive exercises. One of my followers, Foxy Girl, she was really hoping that I could share the stretches that I was doing. So do them at your own pleasure, do them at your own you know, discretion. I'm, you know, not an exercise physiologist or anything like that. I'm a triple PD sufferer as well. There are professionals out there that, you know, you can pay, obviously, to help you with all of your disorders, but I am doing what is working for me. And one of the other ones which I found very interesting, and this is just sharing information, food for thought, is that if you are a very big anxiety sufferer, or finding that you're triggered very easily by overwhelming anxiety, one of the ones that apparently is really good is when you interlock your fingers together and you put your hands behind your back of your head like that, and you find the two, you go up here and you find the two little soft spots in here, and you put your fingers in here and you hold that there, pressure, hold those, find those two little pressure spots, interlocked fingers, find those two little pressure spots, and I'm going to say you're going to gently apply pressure on those two little pressure spots there, just not massive pressure, but like firm pressure for 30 seconds. Count for 30 seconds and then release, okay? They are working on your occipital nerves, and that will, when you release that, take you out of an anxiety rush. Like if you're overwhelmed anxiety and you're literally just so blocked and can't, you know, just you're trying to get yourself off the ledge from an anxiety attack, try to just take those breaths, interlock 30 seconds on those soft spots, count it and breathe, and then release, and then give yourself a moment, and then just see how you feel, and just see if you can release that anxiety, and it should shift. So yeah, that's all food for thought. As I said, it's all about helping each other, and it's about seeing what works. But I'm, as I said, very big believer on, you know, finding those blockages, finding this energy, shifting it from our body, trying to get this balance back into our systems, and also being very, very mindful of the big downloads everyone's using us for. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed today. If you have, do a like, do a share, and I hope all of our brand new subscribers have enjoyed today's toolbox chat. So bye for now, and have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye.